I tell you, there are times I try to record. These dogs make it impossible. Lily is terrified because, well, I got a new box. A new e-bike came, so I had to cover it with my blanket. Now she is barely coming in. And now I got this one out here barking. But we're going to go outside anyway. What seems to be your issue? You're loud enough. You do know I was trying to make a movie? You don't care. Let's go for a walk. Alright guys. Since anywhere I set up today doesn't work, we're just going to walk. Yeah. Well, I put up a video up on my other channel earlier about what happened this morning. I came home from the grocery store and the birds seem to have returned. The cardinals, the blue jays, of course. I don't see any of them anymore, but they're here. I hear cows. I just seen a rabbit jump in front of me. So I don't think it's the end of the world just yet. Let me turn you around it because it's just after, it's a nasty rainy day, but this is how you know in the mountains that the rain's coming to an end. You'll see these clouds all through there. Doesn't mean it's ending, but it means it ended for now. But I came out and I topped these off. Threw some more on the, got to kind of entice them. Threw a little on the ground there, but they're out there somewhere. Maybe we'll hear them here in a second if I shut up. I do hear them. But they're back. Not in a huge amount of numbers. There was a few, but enough to give me hope that they haven't disappeared for good. And I knew they haven't disappeared. I mean, you would see carcasses everywhere, and it just isn't happening. But it's maybe a wake-up call that, something is going on. When I made that first video, I wasn't aware that so many people had noticed, yes, the birds are not out there. The insects, dragonflies, fireflies, a lot of different kinds of insects, June bugs, either didn't show up at all this year or were in very few numbers. And that may just be part of nature. That may just be part of the cycle. I know cicadas, they don't show up all the time in force like they did last year. I think that was like once in every 7 years, or I don't know. That was one of the biggest in a long time. And it was loud. I was glad when they were gone. But I think, places out like where I live, you just notice it a little more because it's all I hear. Plus, I live alone. I don't have a woman yakking in my ear all day. So when the birds are missing, I kind of notice. But still, the chickens will not come out of their coop. They got this yard, they got that little yard. They just will not come out. I don't understand it. Rain does not stop chickens in the daytime, and there they sit. See them? What is up with you guys, huh? Look at them, just peeking out like, well, I don't know what's out here. They think I have something. Anyway, there are signs that things are different. What that is, I don't know. I will tell you this, through all the comments, that first video, 7,500 comments the last time I looked. Guys, I can't even scratch the surface on that. But I've read enough of them to know all the different theories people have. And although some of them may hold a little truth, and there's some outlandish ones out there, I'm going to tell you. There's some good ones. A lot of people are saying it's the chemtrails. Now that's one I have a hard time with. I'm not saying chemtrails ain't real. I'm just saying, why would anybody do that? Because they're going to have to breathe the same air as we do. Even if you're rich, whatever your motive is, you got to breathe the same air. You have to go outside at some point. So why would you poison yourself? So whatever it is they're doing, I don't know. I do know that they are playing with the weather. The last thunderstorm we had, I think I recorded a little bit of it. And this has been happening all over the country. Lightning just goes crazy. It's nonstop, flickering. Nonstop. I've never seen that in my entire life. And it was, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. That in itself could have something to do with insects and birds in short supply. I don't know. But that is definitely something that is changing. It seems that the thunderstorms are more intense, more powerful. They do more damage these days than ever before. The rains, when it rains here, it just rains like crazy. It does it to excess. Now today wasn't too bad, little drizzle here and there, but it's been raining. I don't know when it started, sometime last night. It's been raining on and off all day, which this time of year, pretty normal. So I think, you know, what kind of got me noticing the birds is I do the same thing every year. I put the feeders out the same time every year. Here's one of them. And I need to get some more, but I'm not going to get any more if they're not showing up. So this one they haven't touched. Maybe a little bit. This is, I topped it off because I had to dump some out. These will get wet in the rain, and then you got to kind of poke the holes, especially if it gets cold and freezes and they can't get to it. And then this one over here is always my most popular bird feeder. And I see some birds back in there. See, they have all this. People have asked me, because you cleared that land over there, are they going to disappear? You think they left? Well, you don't think they don't have enough stuff here? Look at this. There's a cardinal right there. Yeah, you guys might be able to see him. And then there's all kinds of little birds, but they are returning. I'll bet you if I walk away from here, he's going to head over to that feeder. So that's good news. Now, I didn't make videos just to create views and do doom and gloom. It was a serious concern. There's another one right there. There's all kinds of them in there. They're just hard to see. Yeah, there's a real nice one there, male cardinal. I haven't really noticed any females yet, though. But listen, just listen for a second. I haven't heard any of those mourning doves. But yeah, I hear them. I see them. They're here. I think they just, maybe food was more plentiful in the forest this year than usual, and they didn't see the need to come out. Oh, donkeys. Maybe they didn't see the need to come out yet, but we are fixing to have a storm, possibly an ice storm, I believe Monday. So maybe they're coming in, getting them some seed, and corn helps them. They know that they can get corn here. Corn helps chickens and birds in the cold, and they crave it. I don't know about the wild birds, but chickens do. They won't eat corn during the summer, but they'll eat it when it starts getting cold because they need it. So I make sure my chickens have plenty of corn. But I think we're all right. I think we're going to be all right, but that doesn't mean we need to stop worrying about it. It still doesn't explain why I didn't have wasps this year, and pretty much the ones that I didn't have, I don't miss, but we still need those kind of insects for, you know, you need them as pollinators. You just need some of these creatures. Dragonflies, you know, they are necessary. And who got into my gloves? No wonder I couldn't find my gloves. Somebody took them. Where's the other one? You know you look guilty as hell. Guilty as hell. What'd you do with the other one? So I got some gloves out the day I was going to do the e-bike ride, and they disappeared. Or I thought I lost them. Nope. She took them. There's another one around here somewhere. Dogs. So anyway, I just wanted to do an update on the birds. Now, don't you sass me. You guys see what I go through here. They back talk, they sass. It's a constant battle of the bickering. Now I hear more birds. Just a walking, talking video today, guys. Let's go back here and see if we can't see if any of these will return. They're not going to do it while I'm here. I had them pretty much last winter where I'd be outside 10 feet away and they didn't care. They would feed, but they got to get used to me again. But this is what I knocked down. And as you can see, there's still plenty of places for them to roost in there. It's not like there's a shortage of places for birds. And this was a popular place, actually more up there. I forgot I got a bird feeder on that tree right up there. And I can tell from here it's still full. But they get in this Chinese privet in here, and there's plenty of places for them. And this is the, it wasn't like I cleared a whole lot. It's probably 25, 30 feet across here, and even less up there, but not enough to kill any kind of a habitat. They still have plenty of trees, plenty of shrubbery, and there's plenty of food back there, so that was not the problem. But as I was saying about the theories, nobody really knows for sure. You can have a theory, you can say it's the chemtrails, you can say it's the 5G, you can say it's Starlink, but the fact is, none of us really know. Because if there is something that is doing it, they're not going to tell us. Unless you are a scientist with NASA, well, I would even say NASA because I don't put a lot of faith in what they say. But unless you are a PhD holder and you're a scientist and and you've proven it, you don't know. So they only leave us to guess. And that's what creates tons of conspiracy theories. Some people are really militant when it comes to what they believe in. And some of the things that people believe in is just nonsense. Here's what I'm going to do, and I suggest you guys do the same. Just live your lives the best you can. Try to leave space for the birds and the bugs, and even though we don't like them, and it'll be a better world. And it's kind of hard to talk to the masses about things like this, but if we can just convince a few people here and there, maybe it'll spread. Eventually, it'll spread. And I did read some, I don't know if these were young people just goofing around, but I read some pretty awful comments about they're glad that the birds are gone because they're annoying, they crap on their cars, and they're glad the insects are gone. These are morons that make these kind of comments that don't understand that when a lot of these disappear, we're going to disappear. We depend on, even the things in the ocean, we depend on all of these things for our survival. And so if you want to make ignorant comments and you don't really care, well, Antarctica is nice this time of year. I suggest you move there. I guess that's all I have, but I'm going to leave you with a little country sound effects. There's that cardinal. Happy trails.